Very good. So this is a good one to watch. Moving on. Moving on. Sorry, let's get back to the fucking video, the Mutahar video. Christ, everyone, content warning. Sorry, we're going back to Mutahar. Got super sidetracked.
Oh, how out of touch do you gotta be? How privileged do you gotta be to sit there on your ass in California and just badmouth the people that take a bullet for your freedoms every single day? The most outrageous shit you'll ever hear. Like, downright, just hateful rhetoric. Now, obviously, the people who are in the military were like, whoa, we're getting that Camaro. I have never in a million years met somebody, and I've met plenty of friends, friends who are actually active military, people that are retired military at this point. They've done their careers. People that have played video games who've told me about their stories. Never once have I ever heard people jump into the Army for that free, juicy Camaro. Ooh. Maybe the student loans, and as somebody that, at the time, financially speaking, I needed money for school, I probably would have joined the Canadian Air Force, out of a patriotic duty, but also because, you sign a bond with them, you work in the military, you get your school paid for, good schooling, and that's kind of how things, go. It's a deal you end up making. I think a lot of people that join the military who are these cogs in the machine that you'd be so willing to say, yeah, I hope you get PTSD if you're not, this reformed person that, has to bend the knee constantly because of your service to your country. Yeah, I think those people are usually in the military out of necessity or, at some point they need a career. They need to join something. And the military is a great...
Why did we switch to watching whatever the fuck gameplay this is? Why are we... What?
Provider of it.
I don't understand.
The military also produces a lot of those same technologies used to stream your nonsense garbage on the internet. They do a lot more than just this imperialism that she, likes to throw
You know
around.
what else they fight for? They fight for our freedom of speech to say whatever the fuck we want to say. The concern trolling about that clip on where Frogan says what she says is just, it's so pathetic. It's so pathetic. I think that, if I'm not mistaken, that Twitch clip got posted to the Our Military subreddit. And do you want to know what every single fucking comment on the Our Military subreddit said? I don't care. "50% of the comments that I read were, I've heard worse. Getting called a baby killer. That one's worse. I've heard way worse." And the other 50% were, freedom of speech, man. That's what America's about. Yeah, I mean, we go to war to fight for our freedom so they could say whatever the fuck they want. That's part of the deal. She's allowed to say what she wants. That's what makes the country good. It's concern trolling. It's total fucking concern trolling. That's literally what I fought for, so that we can have the freedom to do as we wish. Like, as someone who's friends with a surprisingly large number of military people, I swear I'm not a Fed. Dude, if I had a CIA handler, they would be so pissed at me all the time. They would be constantly pissed, dude. They'd be almost as mad as like Tectone's manager. Just like, stop, what are you saying? Stop, no. Anyways, I have a surprisingly large number of military friends, and literally none of them support what's happening in Gaza. None of them support what's happening in Israel. None of them think, and also, none of them think that that Frogan clip mattered. Every single one of them said, yeah, that's freedom of speech. I mean, I can have whatever opinions I want about what she said, but at the end of the day, she has the right to say it. I don't give a fuck. People have said stupider things. I don't care. Nobody fucking cared. No one fucking cared. Only these losers cared. No one cared.
There is very valid criticisms you can make of the U.S. military, but I think going after the cogs in the machine, the people that are the grunts, the foot soldiers, is just insane. This kind of rhetoric doesn't really bring anyone together. If anything, all it does is just sow more discord and, sow more issues amongst people who are already facing a lot of issues right now, people who are already so divided. This kind of rhetoric doesn't really, portray anything. She might think this is based, but at the end of the day, it's just literally cowardice behavior that, you're displaying from the internet. You're not really actually providing any solution. You're just sitting over there wishing that people who literally fight for your freedoms every day would get probably the worst post-traumatic stress disorder or mental illnesses because of their service. I mean, honestly, if you were a serviceman and you heard this shit, I would actually understand if you probably regretted your service afterwards, or if you...
You're literally Canadian. Your job is to post slop on YouTube. Why are you talking on behalf of American troops? Shut the fuck up. Oh my god. Oh my god. And here's the thing, okay? If there's anything that you should know about the military, which obviously you don't, if there was anything you should know about the military, it's that military bros... I guess I don't know any women that have been in the military. But military bros, they will never say that they regretted their service. The only military people that I've seen that say that they've regretted their service, also, sorry, the very few that do, it's because they got fucked over by their government. Not because someone said something on the internet. That's never happened. You invented a person. You just invented a person that doesn't exist. There is no military bro that will see someone say something that they disagree with and be like, I regretted my service. No, it's the disabled veterans that say they regretted their service. The disabled homeless veterans that regret their service. The veterans that watch their government do fucked up shit in other countries that regret their service. There is not a single veteran that you will find that will say that they regretted their service because some lady on the internet said something.
You actually question your patriotism. If these are the actual, people that you're fighting for, the people that you're, hoping live their freedoms, right? In the manner that they've become so accustomed to and, have literally taken for granted. It's just hateful shit that she's spouting, and realistically it just comes from this very one-sided view of the army, or really your country. It feels like a lot of the extreme leftists on the internet have literally just amounted to their...
Extreme leftists. Extreme leftism is when, checks notes, you want healthcare for everyone and you don't like genocide. And you don't like veterans committing war crimes in other countries? That's what being an extreme leftist is now? I have to, if I don't want to be an extreme leftist, I have to support veterans killing innocent people? What the hell? What the hell? Are you an idiot?
Policy being America bad, and realistically never really looking at any of these things from a nuanced perspective. On a side note, I also love how these people talk about getting universal health care for people, which is genuinely a cool thing to see people actually, live and not be indebted to the medical industry of the United States because they happen to get sick or go through something serious. No, your medical rights are only really present as long as you share your political views with us. I mean, how fucking backwards, out of touch.
Huh? What? Are you an idiot? Universal means universal. You can also talk to any leftist and they will tell you, yeah, even the fucking chud that thinks that trans people aren't real, that person doesn't deserve to die because they can't afford insulin. What? No leftist has ever said, yes, I want universal health care. That means no means testing, but also I want means testing? That's fucking stupid. No, what? The closest the left has gotten to that is, fine, if you don't want to get the COVID vaccine, then fucking catch COVID on your own time and suffer and fucking die if that happens to you. I don't give a fuck. I'm tired of giving a fuck about whether or not you get vaccinated. That's the closest I've seen the left get to not caring. And that is so obviously different. And even that is not a popular position on the left because you want mass inoculation for vaccines to work.
Bullshit is this when you got to hear it, right? It's like, I hope you get PTSD and I hope America doesn't pay for your medical stuff. I mean, they're military people. If you had any basic understanding, they probably have earned, their medical protections because of the service that they've offered. Just insane stuff to see. Now, will Twitch...
You made this up. Nobody said this.
Ban this person for, their obvious, obvious hateful conduct on the site? Probably not.
Rogan said in the clip, she didn't say in the clip, I don't want you to get health care. She said, I hope you get PTSD. Huh?
They're just walking around completely free. It's insane shit. It's a laissez-faire attitude. Now, obviously, after some backlash, this complete dipshit comes out and goes, I realize that wishing people harm isn't the
I'm gonna rewatch it. I'm rewatching it. 16:30.
because Twitch said, oh, we like to enforce our shit very equally. Listen to what one of Twitch's political streamers has to say. This is Frogan coming
Oh, it's not in the clip that he played? Oh. Okay. Well, I guess I don't get to see
with
it.
the dumbest shit that I've heard in a while.
I have no I will n***ing whom. I hope you get PTSD. I do, the ones I do.
Okay, so it's not in this clip. It's in a longer version of the clip? Okay. All right. Sure. Sure, I guess.
See. Now, will Twitch ban this person for, their...
Okay, people are saying that it's in here. If it's not in here, I'm going to be really mad.
For any soldiers. Distress, thank you. No.
This is Frogan coming at you with the dumbest shit that I've heard in a while.
I have no pity at all for any soldiers. Distress, thank you so much. I will never have any pity for any soldiers. U.S. military? Boo fucking who. I hope you get PTSD. I do, the ones the ones I'm like whatever about the U.S. soldiers are the ones that like acknowledge that like what they did was wrong. They didn't know back then. Whatever. You're a good person in my book. I'm like a Tom. Thank you so much for the 10 gifted. So the U.S. military that are like, yeah, like, I did this back then, but now I know it's wrong. Like, I'm changed. Like, imperialism. This, you don't deserve the PTSD. But like any other motherfucker, you're joining them. You're like, oh my god, I want my Camaro, no student loans. Fuck you. I hope you get PTSD, and I hope you get no health insurance when you get back in America.
Oh,
okay.
How out of touch do you?
She would still be in support of, she's in support of universal health care. She's discussing a current system. What? She didn't talk about giving people universal health care except these people that she doesn't like. Wait, what? Huh? She's talking about not getting health insurance as like a total fuck you, so that you can see that the government doesn't care about you. She's not saying that I don't want these people to have universal health care in like the final version of our government or an ideal government. She's saying, if you are incapable of seeing the harm that you have caused, I hope you get to see how little your government cares about you. You would come back, you would deal with these issues, and then you'll see the government doesn't give a fuck about you the second that you are no longer useful to us. That's very obviously what it's very clear that she's saying you fight for a country that won't even take care of you when you get back from with PTSD from serving. Yeah. Dude, I hate slop YouTubers so much. Like, why do you have to twist things? Why can't you just critique things as they are?
Probably not. They're just walking around completely free. It's insane shit. It's a laissez-faire attitude. Now, obviously, after some backlash, this complete dipshit comes out and goes, I realize that wishing people harm isn't the best way to talk about these issues. Really? Really? Wow! And these people are supposed to be the fucking intellectual bastions on the internet. Really? You think that being hateful isn't going to attract people? Whoa, hold on a minute. You're telling me that it's easier to attract people with honey than vinegar? Say it ain't so.
Calm down, bro. Calm down. It's going to be okay. All right? It's going to be okay. Calm down. There's no need to start screeching like a banshee. Just relax. All right?
Oh, Chief, that's wild shit. Now, going down further into this specific cretin, one thing that really came out wild was this TwitchCon sponsored event. Now, this is 3 weeks ago, so this is very recent. Like, this is, again, very much in Twitch's line. So she posts this, like, clip or video. It's like, how Arab are these Twitch streamers, right? So live at TwitchCon, and if you actually watch the content over here, you'll see that they're pretty much sponsored by Chevron, okay?
Chevron.
Samsung, Capcom, they got some pretty big sponsors right over here, insane stuff. So if you look at the actual like tier list, you can see that Arab streamers S, Hassan Piker, funny, the Turkish guy is on the Arab list, all right. Then you've got like AB, the actual Arabs. And then of course on the F tier, this is where it gets interesting. You've got Ethan Klein and Ben Shapipo. So at this point, we reach like, all right, S is good. S is good tier. A and B are not as good as S, but it's there. F tier, that tier just gives me the heebie-jeebies. The Jews? Ooh, boy, oh boy. So when you actually watch the clip and you look at this tier list that they're doing, it's insane because like at the top they've got the Arab, they've got Arab coded, they've got asked perms.
Oh my god, he's getting the Ethan Klein cough, dude.
Things it's a slur, and then the words love Sabra. Now Sabra apparently in their eyes is like they're referring to like a brand of hummus that exists in Israel that is basically in part of a boycott. Now Sabra also translates to Israeli Jew or Jew born in Israel. So realistically, you know, if we're gonna use the terminology that these people politically like to use, this is what we consider a dog whistle, okay? Because in reality, this is what they're actually going for. I mean, the thumbnail that I showed you, and again, these are the same people that judged me based on the thumbnail that I used for like the Keffels video. So to give you a quick idea,
I mean, to be clear, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think that thumbnail was very bad. I think that thumbnail was not good. Just like I think his thumbnail was not good. But notice how he doesn't show what the tier list looked like at the end. Notice how he stopped before I got put on the tier list. Notice how he didn't highlight the fact that there were non-Jewish creators in the bottom tier? Notice how he didn't point out the fact that Sneeko was in the bottom tier. Notice how he didn't point out the fact that I was in the bottom tier, despite the fact that I am Arab. I am 100% Arab. Both my parents are Arab. I speak Arabic. I was raised Muslim, but isn't that weird that I'm there? Isn't it weird that Michael from PA, famously very anti-Israel, is in the bottom tier? Isn't that so bizarre?
Understand, putting two Jews in the F tier kind of gives you an idea of like where they're at. Arab being at the top, Jew being at the bottom, okay?
So you're Scottish then, exactly.
See, I can look at this and immediately understand that this is most definitely designed to be hateful rhetoric, right? Like no matter how you want to cut and slice it, if I had done this, or anybody had done this, or people who are opposed politically to these people would do it, they would say that this is hateful conduct. This is literally hateful conduct occurring on the platform. Now, will Twitch punish the accounts responsible for that kind of display of idiocy on the platform? No. You know, will Twitch do any? No. They basically won't. Now, I want to shift attention to Twitch's biggest political streamer, Hassan Piker. Now, Hassan, in the last, like, I want to say a couple of weeks, has basically been exposing people to wild shit. Now, if you watch, like, some of his streams, he's sitting with another actual streamer, and when you watch it, he's literally walking away and, like, playing literal, like, terror propaganda, like, actual terror, like, music videos to, like, random creators. Now, if I was to do this on YouTube or really any other platform, or even Twitch, I would actually be expecting a ban. You know, a couple, like, about a year or two ago, like, I was actually assisting a couple smaller YouTubers who basically had memes where they had, like, literal actual, like, meme channels where they had, like, actual, like, you know, I think it was, like, ISIS music. And YouTube, immediately after detecting it, completely demonetized accounts. In some cases, they would actually remove videos or even ban people because YouTube went through a serious apocalypse in regarding this. And obviously, I think most platforms understand that, you know, highlighting illegal criminal organizations, they don't even have to be terrorists. They can be literal criminal gangs. Like, you know, if you're out there promoting the Hells Angels or you're promoting the Mexican drug cartels, you would probably get a serious ban. But in this situation, Twitch's largest political streamer, left-wing political streamer, can just fucking outright, you know, promote this kind of stuff on the platform. And it's not even just that. It gets to a point where, like, imagine being a political streamer and you bring a actual pirate, a actual criminal onto your streams. And instead of, you know, being respectful and being a proper journalist, you get on your knees and suck their dick for about 32 minutes. Watch this.
It's so crazy to say this when, like, this is the same guy who's gone on to defend multiple actual criminals.
Clip.
Like, this is the guy who's, like, friends with fucking pedophile Keemstar. This is the guy who has, interestingly, nothing to say about people like Dr. Disrespect.
They went over the crews on these ships, and they like,
oh yeah, Boogie's pal, fucking, oh my god, dude.
like, win them over with their charm, and they make them hate America and the U.S. government.
That's so funny. Think about China. Does he know anything about China?
He's saying he hasn't spent much time with Chinese people, but one of the captain was Chinese, and he did qat with them, and he danced to music with them, and he was vibing. So he likes him, yeah.
So I mean, what? That's so crazy. So they're just fucking chilling.
This interview was cringe, but this guy attacking it makes me want to defend it on principle. Don't forget the hentai drama that he was just involved in. The what? The what? The what?
The captains, like, I don't understand.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate that we're talking about somebody that has been taken hostage, who, quote unquote, is being chilled with. And again, this is just right on Twitch.
America's like America's like blowing them up while they're just like doing cat and fucking chilling with the captains. Like, how does he feel about that? Isn't that crazy? Like, I don't know how to describe.
Now, these clips were seen 8 months ago on Willie Mack's channel, but you can watch this video right now. Hassan will sit there and
I have to piss, but I'm still listening.
hypebeast these people without any care in the world. Like, this man does not critically apply any form of journalism. He is just showing these people and promoting them in this incredibly positive light when there are actually just pirates and terrorists who are putting people in harm's way, especially people that have nothing to do with the Israeli conflict in general. So again, if you want to check it out, Willie Mack's video is great. He covers this topic. I would highly recommend you see this to see actual proper journalism and an actual proper objective coverage of the situation. So he brings this kid on and basically, talks about One Piece. They have a whole like gag and everything. And the thing about this kid is, obviously, if you know him, like, this guy is an influencer called Timothy Chalamet. Okay, so the Houthi movement, basically a movement where, again, this kid is part of a piracy organization where you can see him literally on like actual captured vessels. It's not something that's like a hidden secret. He brought this guy on and basically popularized him. Now, before people in the Hassan camp go, but Muda, this kid has seen only suffering his entire life. So obviously, he's going to be part of these situations. And, you're being a little bit harsh. Now, I am one of those people that is empathetic towards individuals. And obviously, if this kid has only ever seen death and destruction in his entire life because of the Saudi-Yemen conflict, then yes, I can understand why they would do such a thing. But never in a million years should you, as a content creator or a journalist, I guess, or a political commentator, ever bring somebody on and kind of popularize these things, okay? These people are ultimately part of a criminal operation.
What did he popularize? What the fuck are you talking about?
An enterprise, a terrorist movement that shouldn't be glorified. And it's not similar to interviewing like bin Laden back in 1997 with CNN. These are situations where even back then, these were interviews done respectfully, and it wasn't in a way to glorify anybody who was part of a seriously criminal operation that isn't designated just by one country, but by a consortium of countries, even countries that are diametrically opposed to each other, politically. These are
This guy couldn't list you a single terrorist action committed by the Houthis. Like, he is just reading fucking talking points off of a whiteboard. He does not know anything about the Houthis. Anything at all. Obviously, in this instance, not that it fucking matters, because Rashid is not a Houthi. And also, Houthis weren't designated as terrorists until after the interview. And also, the famous terrorist list has included people that we would consider absolutely not terrorists today. It's just pathetic point after pathetic point after pathetic point. It's just so embarrassing. Nelson Mandela famously was also on that list. We literally change the list every 2 months. Yeah. Yeah. It's just so dumb. It's so fucking stupid.
Are actual interviews that people do with criminals as a way to get multiple sides of a story. It's not meant to glorify somebody or glorify their cause. This is something just.
You know, in a
Mudahar was caught watching lolly porn in a Discord call with a bunch of other guys, made a statement about it on his own subreddit saying, I didn't know what it was when I watched it. I thought it was only hentai. This is way more than I wanted to know. Why are you having a goon sesh with the bros? What the fuck? What the fuck? I have no words, dude. I have no fucking words, dude. I have no fucking words, man.
In a way, it's like presenting people like Sneeko or Andrew Tate.
Hence my earlier comment, some ordinary lolicon. Not so some ordinary gamer anymore, I suppose.
I've made videos on in the past. It's like if I promote them or talk about them on my channel, it's usually with a very objective view. It's usually with a very careful view where obviously if they promote bad ideologies, right, like hatred or bigotry, it's about sitting there and deconstructing it with actual facts and logic instead of, you know, sitting down and kind of, you know, hype beasting it to the point where you're normalizing it to a whole bunch of communities, right? You know, it's like hosting a neo-Nazi on your actual channel and not combating them on their terrible beliefs or their violent or extremist beliefs, right? You have to be able to counter these people if you're willing to platform them. Otherwise, they just have a free speaker to operate their, you know, shitty beliefs over. And these are things that, again, no matter what
Free speaker, free speech.
side of the political spectrum you fall onto, I would imagine political content creators would be a bit more careful than even average YouTubers. If you got people like me who are just engineers and computer scientists that know better and know how to actually handle these facts, then these people are complete buffoons that shouldn't be operating in this field of content in the first place. Now,
Yes, please glaze yourself harder, please.
that same guy that Hassan was kind of sucking the dick off basically was out there posting the executions we will carry out on all Zionists in this situation. Now, one could sit down and probably say, yeah, he's probably talking about, you know, just Zionists, not Jews in specific, but, you know, looking into
Someone pointed out to me people saying in specific instead of the correct in particular. And now every time I see it, especially from someone who just spent 10 seconds glazing themselves and being like, I know better. I'm so smart. I know better. I know so much better than anybody else in here. And then immediately just immediately show your whole ass is just I just have no words. I have no fucking words. Damn. Jesus.
this person and the Houthi movement and the group in particular, you know, the idea of anti-Zionism is also conflated with like anti-Semitism in this situation as well. It's just more hateful rhetoric that is being constantly pushed down anyone's feed. I think hate from any angle is bad, but this guy is not necessarily any innocent, you know, party. Now, obviously, Twitch, you know, who is in such a weird state right now, has decided to let this guy constantly stream, and from what I understand, even unban the account, to which he's an actual streamer on Twitch right now.
This entire conversation is fucking idiotic. It's not a Jewish person. He said, this is, I think if we're, why am I held accountable for some random fucking...
Because you platformed him. How fucking hard is that? You're the one.
Dude, Ethan Klein, you do not want to get into platforming. The number of people that you have brought onto your show time and time and time and time and time and time and time again, this is not it for you, King.
That put him on your channel unapologetically and then memed with him about One Piece. Didn't ask him one single critical question. That's you. You did that. I'm criticizing you. You're not accountable for him. You're accountable for yourself.
Now, honestly, that's probably the best way to put it. Thank you, Ethan Klein, for saying it like that. And you know, at the end of the day, it kind of almost harkens back to, again, hey, listen, if you're going to put somebody on your channel, you really should be able to counter them on their terrible beliefs. You know, these are the same people that would say if you have like 10 people at a table and one of them are Nazis and you're not countering that Nazi on his terrible beliefs, then congratulations, you have 10 Nazis at that table. You know, these are the same people that would say it. And I feel like you should.
That's it. That's it. This is who you are now, Mudahar. You're just another partisan hack. That's it. You see Ethan Klein is in your corner and you see Asmongold is in your corner, so now you have to defend them as hard as you can. That's what you are now. This is pathetic, man. Fuck, dude. Jesus.
Hold people to that same accountability. And honestly, if you come across violent or hateful rhetoric, you should be combating it. Like you 100% should.
What's even fucking wild is when discussing this person in a very recent interview with Asmongold, like when they were talking about why Asmongold had his like wild takes. This is what Hassan had to say about that pirate. Watch this.
We're not like, oh, you're trans, we're gonna kill you. They were like, oh, thank you for your fucking humanitarian aid. They don't give a shit. Like it's the same as any other kind of person. I talked to a teenager from Yemen, okay, who everyone called, myself included, called Timothy Charlemagne or Chalamet.
Is that the One Piece one?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now this kid is like, I think he was like 19 at the time when I talked to him, which means that for most of his life he has withstood genocide, right?
Sure.
Like he is a person whose only experience is like, it's literally like talking to fucking Anne Frank, basically.
Oh, yeah. You know, where's that part of Anne Frank's diary when she was also rating ships? Like these.
Mudahar, you're so fucking stupid. So, would the correct response from the Jews have been to do nothing? So Jews actively getting holocausted. If they wanted to sink Nazi ships, you would have thought that that was bad? Are you fucking stupid? The argument you're making is the most moronic argument on the planet. It's ridiculous. If you want to say, no, it's not cool for this guy to compare himself to Anne Frank because like the situations are completely different or sorry, it's not cool for Hassan to compare this guy to Anne Frank because the situations are completely different and the amount of power that these individuals had was very different and it's kind of disrespectful to Anne Frank's memory and blah, 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 and this. Okay, but that's not what you said, dude. It's not even close to what you said. And in fact, your response of like howling like a fucking moron just makes it seem like you think that the Jews should not have fought back. And under occupation, under Nazi Germany occupation, they should have just rolled over and died. So, oh my God.
These are things where, again, yes, in one way, Hassan is kind of like this weird hyperbolic individual where, like, he'll, you know, he has, like, kind of a point. Both these people are young. They've seen death and destruction their entire life. And you can almost empathize with somebody who is doing a bad thing, is part of a terrible movement, is part of a terrible group that is actually committing crimes. And you can understand why they do it because of the...
Actually, whether or not you're committing crimes is not the only thing to take into account. Actually, committing crimes in certain instances should be acceptable morally. If, for example, you were Anne Frank and you decided to commit the crime of murder by killing 100 Nazis, I think most people would consider that based. Unless you're a Nazi. To pretend like an intellectual genius, or an intellectual juggernaut, because you're like, crimes are bad. Anne Frank is nothing like this guy because he has committed a crime. And we all know once you commit one crime, it's all over for you then. What? If the only distinction between Anne Frank and the not Houthi guy is that Anne Frank didn't commit crimes, you are suggesting that Anne Frank committing crimes would make her no longer a victim. And that would be reprehensible for her to do. You're so stupid.
The, you know, world that they've lived in. But then to compare it to like Anne Frank, who, you know, again, is a pacifist in comparison, is just insane shit. And it's...
I have no words. I have no words. I have no words. I have no fucking words. The way you attack the Yemeni kid is not by saying that he commits crimes. It's by saying he commits crimes against people who don't deserve crimes committed against them. You fucking moron. You fucking idiot. You fucking shit for brains, dude. Oh my fucking god. Also, Anne Frank was a child. What was she supposed to do? What the fuck? She's not remembered for her pacifism, you fucking... I'm just gonna call him a moron again. I can't believe this. I can't. If you no longer like Anne Frank because she wanted to kill the Nazis, in that timeline where Anne Frank is like Wednesday Addams, and she was like, dude, I'm gonna fucking kill these Nazis. And that for you would have sullied her image, you are pathetic. You are the most pathetic person on the planet. Like...
It's weird because, like, you know, it's in one of these situations where when it comes to, like...
Oh, my God. What video is this? I remember it when it came out, but not what the title is. Twitch is a disgustingly evil platform, ...
People like Hassan.
Anne Frank, Nazi Hunter, kind of goes hard, though. I know, right?
We've had him on, like, the podcast, the Some Ordinary podcast, one of the first actual, like, you know, big guests. And on that show, what's insane to me is, like, look, people like Frogan, people like Asmongold, I would say that they're pretty stupid in understanding these situations. I'm stupid. Hassan, however, is not. This guy knows better. Yet he just purposefully goes and obfuscates things like this. It's insane. Now, again, I don't want to jump and make this like a super political video because, again, I'm not equipped to even discuss this kind of stuff. But I am somebody that has basically been seeing a lot of this, like, you know, insane side of the internet effectively take over and become so normalized. Now, in the situation, you know, like I've said before, and I've been clipped a few times,
Amazing.
and, you know, even when I stream, you know, videos do get uploaded of my takes on situations.
30 minutes into the video, I don't want to be political.
That I feel like I need to clarify. I'm not somebody that is afraid to say that genocide is wrong. I think that there is an actual case of, you know, genocide, and there's an actual case of attack that goes towards the Palestinian people. I think there's very serious situations that go around the world. Now, at the same time, these are situations that
30 minutes into performing surgery, and then your doctor says, by the way, I'm not qualified to do this.
Involve, you know, a group of people, Muslims and Jews, that have effectively been at each other's throats for not just decades, but hundreds of years. It's why when I talk about these situations in a nuanced conflict, I say that, listen, you were talking about hundreds of years of, like, just institutional dislike between each other.
Nope.
If you've ever grown up Muslim, and I have...
Famously, I guess the Crusades were against Muslims and Jews.
You know that there is a serious culture of anti-Semitism, you know, in amongst the most conservative of Muslim circles. Just as you will know that there is a serious amount of Islamophobia in the most right-wing of Jewish circles. These are two groups of people that literally...
Is he an ex-Muslim mod or something? Fucking, I don't know, dude.
...are just fighting each other. And it's not...
I love that, like, Christians and, you know, Europe, as a reminder, Europe, the non-Muslim region, the mostly Christian region, is the one that committed the Holocaust against the Jews. But for some fucking bizarre reason, Muslims always have to fucking deal with the claims of anti-Semitism against us. We're not the ones who fucking Holocausted them. What the fuck? What the hell? The Inquisition too? I don't understand.
Not going to change until, like, the youth grow up and realize that this kind of hatred towards each other doesn't really meld well. And when it comes to people dying in a conflict zone like Gaza right now, there is literally nothing that I feel other than sadness for men, women, and children needlessly dying for no reason. It's why that, time and time again, I donate as much as I can to aid.
Criticize Hassan for the Rashid interview, I agree with their points. But you just seem to get frustrated and, forgive me for saying this, ad hominem. Can you explain why you believe the interview was fine?
Why do I have that voice on? I've already defended it a million times. I'm sorry that you haven't seen the numerous times where I've explained why I don't think that the interview... I said it in this stream. What do you... Okay, sorry, wait. Sorry. I said earlier in this stream. Okay? I said earlier in the stream that one, no one has provided any evidence of that Yemeni kid being a Houthi terrorist or that any actions have been committed by him that show that he is a terrorist. You just believe it, maybe not you specifically, you just believe it because brown kid with a gun celebrating pirates, which means he's a terrorist. If you're going to call someone a terrorist, you have to provide proof of them being a terrorist. Okay? Second, which I also said less than an hour ago, less than 30 minutes ago. Second, when Hassan had him on, he explicitly said that he's not a Houthi terrorist, and that was before Houthis were considered a terrorist organization. That's before they were on the US terrorist list. That's before they were designated as terrorists. And if that's not enough for you, maybe you should consider the fact that the terror list, the terrorist list, also had people like Nelson Mandela on it. It's not one, it's not a list or a designated list to take seriously when they've put on countless individuals and groups that are absolutely not terrorists or terror organizations. It's an arbitrary list, and it is, if I might suggest, propaganda made to fool people like this guy. Cuba is on the state sponsors of terrorism list, one of 4 countries. Incredible. Incredible. The state of Cuba, incredible. No, it's a good list. It's a good list. All right? It's definitely not a vibes-based list to help with US imperialism. It's a good list. Which, again, if you were paying attention to the stream, I said this. I said all of this, like, within watching this video. It's just that I like to explain these things and also call him a fucking moron for making such a stupid point. And I think I'm allowed to do both.
Even going, like tens of thousands of dollars just to make sure that people who need medical assistance, and I vet my charities the best that I can to assist people in really shitty situations. I don't make it a big deal to talk about it because I don't think donating money should be constantly promoted in the sense that, are you really doing it to help people? Or are you
reading some of the comments, the CIA did a good job. Dude, the CIA ops are fucking killing it.
It to make yourself look better in the eyes.
Why is his shirt so dirty? I don't know, dude. Someone said they're like tonsil stones or something. It's fucking weird, dude.
But it's the tiniest thing that I can do in order to make sure that, maybe somebody who needs medical assistance in a part of the world where they literally can, literally it is one of the most like sought after needs, can get some attention. And it's one conflict that I hope before I die, things can kind of change. Now, ultimately, I really do think that Twitch is fucking cooked when it comes to this kind of stuff. The clips that I've seen the last few days have been downright disgusting to witness. One of the things that I noticed on my phone And my wife actually saw this too. Was I opened up the health app on my phone, and I guess I did a questionnaire. And inside my questionnaire, I was actually like diagnosed. Well, I wouldn't say diagnosed, but the questionnaire rated me as moderately severe to depression. And I don't recall myself ever being in that route or in that stage. There was a video that a creator I respect, known as Jacksepticeye, made a couple days ago titled Help, where he talked about the internet and toxicity, and most importantly, the mental health associated with it. Now, I think the world's a bad place. You know, I know that I put a lot of smiles on things. I know that I laugh a lot, and you know,
Am I gonna get advertised on?
I really do try to put like the best smile forward. Okay. My goal is to make you laugh. My goal is to make people smile and be happy.
You fucking suck at your job, dude.
But I do sometimes believe the world is a bad place. And I think a lot of the social media platforms like Twitch, like Twitter, like a lot of these places have promoted the most insane rhetoric, like this hateful rhetoric, rage bait, actual toxic content. And it's done nothing but throw people down.
Bro, you're literally friends with Keemstar. Like, you're literally best buds with Keemstar. I don't know why you are talking about what you're talking about. Like, it is incredible that you were even pretending to have any moral high ground at all when one of your fucking homies literally runs a drama alert channel made for making fun of other people.
A shit rabbit hole. When I look at Asmongold's, like, you know, statements that he made a few days ago, it reminds me of growing up as a kid, you know, post 9/11, you know, that level of, you know, Islamophobia, I guess, if one wants to say it. It's not something that I have not seen, you know, before. I've seen tons of people hate for no reason. I've seen tons of people bring up this divide, and I don't know what the solution to it, but it really has brought me back to realizing what I like the most about my channel. I don't want to kind of make any more of this kind of content covering these kind of people. This will probably be the last time that I ever want to aim making this kind of content or discussing these kind of things. But I think it's an important discussion to have. No matter where you stand on these situations, you can call me a fence sitter or, like, you know, fucking centrist or whatever the hell. But I really do think that no matter what side you're on, no matter what your beliefs are, any hateful rhetoric like this shouldn't be tolerated by anybody on the platform. It really shouldn't. Because if you want to talk about dividing people and keeping hate alive, it's literally this rhetoric that keeps us going. It's this kind of negativity on the internet, and this kind of negativity that people like, I think, Hassan, Frogan, and, you know, Sneeko and all these people promote, that I really think should be avoided. This kind of doomer stuff is stuff that really shouldn't. I feel like the more people that consume it, the more they fall down into this rabbit hole, and the worse it really ends up being for them mentally. Look, at the end of the day, for my channel, I'm SomeOrdinaryGamers, and, you know, I like to make a community that involves everyone to be a part of it. One of the things I like about video games is, you know, growing up, playing them online, the anonymity has always really stripped away these immutable characteristics, and that would be race, religion, identity. And because of the anonymity that online gaming has really provided, or really this community, you know, whether you be on like a message board talking about Shin Megami Tensei or really any random game, you strip away those immutable characteristics and you realize at the end of the day,
oops, all slop.
All human beings really are the same people. You know, you bleed the same. You know, if my body,
dude, your Nazi buddies would not agree with you.
Was chopped in half, I would look the same inside as anybody else, regardless of their immutable characteristics. Hanging on to these constant hateful rhetorics on the internet is what's ultimately causing us a divide. And I think it's what causes us to be so separated and distrustful. You know, to look at Jacksepticeye's video, it's not that the internet has become more hateful. It's that a lot of this hateful rhetoric that, you know, people are promoting on the platforms, it used to be something that you would see on like a random message board or some fringe website on the internet. But to see the kind of clips that we saw today exist on the front page of Twitch, Reddit, most of the mainstream social media platforms, it might be what's contributing to the worst humanity is kind of seeing. You know, I uninstalled Twitter and left it because of how weird it got on the platform, and it's probably been the best for my mental health. And, you know, to see on Twitch the kind of rhetoric being promoted that is from the other opposite political end, you know, when you're talking about service operators getting PTSD.
Which clips is he talking about? Frogan saying she doesn't care about vets getting PTSD, and us rating people who can say Habibi, and Hassan having a Yemeni kid on his stream.
When you're talking about promoting hateful terrorist music videos to like random individuals, these are things that probably should exist in clown world, but they exist in actual reality. I'm sure that I'm probably going to have a pretty divisive comment section going down into this video.
Let's see it.
And I'm kind of interested in reading it, but to going forward, this is my last time I really want to make content. You know,
his comment, did you get a donation from APAC?
Ever covering this kind of stuff. And I pledge, at least for the remainder of my time here on YouTube, I want to go back to like, you know, I really want to just do a deep web video now every week, because things were a lot more simpler when I was reading through fucking goofy shit on the internet. I really want to play some random PS2 games, and I think I'm just going to do that this week and the next week.
Damn,
and the week after that.
Dude. Half the comments are actually just shitting on him. Mudahar is trying to both sides, and active genocide is never going to be not funny to me. Dude, just shut the fuck up. Making fun of veterans that unjustly invaded nations at the behest of an empire isn't comparable to an idiotic slop content creator. Asmund is the worst kind of slop, as he makes barely any creative content of his own. Making an insensitive, sweeping generalization about victims of a genocide. I usually avoid these issues. I don't take sides because I'm not knowledgeable on the topic, only to immediately proceed labeling people knowledgeable on the subject and speaking out against genocide as polarized extremists. Dude, you cut him off at they're an inferior culture. He was not referring to just extremists. He was calling all of them fucking extremists. Quote, I don't feel sympathy for military grunts. Quote, well, this is absolutely ridiculous since they're out there fighting for your freedom every day. Quote, I think they're an inferior culture and genocide is baked into their law. Absolute silence. Love you, but this video rubbed me the wrong way. I would have respected it if you just never talked about politics ever, but this ain't it. I like how he's talking about the U.S. military like he isn't Canadian. Damn.
But yeah, this is me, Mudahar, and I'm not going to ask you to like this
Gorg
video,
Sanity,
comment,
thank
or
you for the
dislike,
prime.
or subscribe, or anything of that nature.
Karen Pup,
But I do want you guys to think about
gift
the
subs.
content
Thank
you're
you.
consuming and the kinds of people that, you know, are on these platforms, especially Twitch. Anyways, I'm out.
That was amazing. That was incredible. That was one of the most amazing, incredible videos I've ever seen in my life. She tried to attack me. Who? Who's the based queen? Oh my god. Not the fucking pigtail.